Alrighty, howdy y'all. Just a forewarning, it is very, very windy outside, so you might hear a little wind. I'm coming to you a little later on Sunday evening. It is May the 9th. It is Mother's Day. I was at my mama's all day. So yeah, I'm just going to show you my stitching. This was the worst stitching week I've had in quarantine because I downloaded Animal Crossing, so I have been playing a lot of that, which I'm okay with because it kind of serves the same purpose, which is like de-stressing and keeping my anxiety down. So I'm alright with it. Having a lot of fun. Been very, very lucky on that game. I've gotten a lot of villagers that I really love, so I am extremely, extremely lucky. But not to belabor any points, I'm going to get right into my stitching. So I did about 1,200 stitches on my Choose Your Own Adventure SAL. Here is that. I will bring it closer. So I had that owl done. I had a little bit of the outline of Hogwarts done, and then I think this red, blue, and then the wand. Not all the red, just some of the red done. So I have gotten done that yellow and that green, which is, this is actually as long as the piece is. So that is just as big, that's just as long as it's going to get, and it is on this pretty big piece of fabric, so I get to have quite a bit left over, which is great. Again, I'm doing this 1/1 on 36 count, so those are some itty bitty stitches, but I like it. It's going to turn out perfect, because I do want to be able to just to frame this and put it on a bookshelf. If any of you have ever watched my videos before, you know that I am working on some pretty big bookshelf heids, which I think is actually going to be like hung up around my house. I'm also, shockingly, not the biggest fan of Harry Potter, at least not the books. I've read them all. They're not my favorite, which I know, whew, hot take, but I don't know. Didn't really like Harry very much. I love Hermione. She's great, but not a big Harry fan. But I do really, really like this pattern, and I also just, the design is gorgeous, and it's a lot of fun to stitch, because I'm not that big of a fan of samplers, but this has got kind of that samplery feel that I really like. I also did my nails, so you don't have to look at them all crusty again. But yeah, I just have this train to finish off, which goes to about here, and then I have another owl. I didn't go get those colors for Hogwarts. I'll get them whenever quarantine is over and I can just go buy them. I don't really want to do another order online. I'll just go pick them up in store. Because I do have the color, I'm missing actually 2 of the colors that make borders on the outline. But I have the off-white color that goes inside, and one of the stitching challenges this month for my Enchanted Stitching group is to stitch in one color for 1,000 stitches, so I think I'm going to get this middle panel done, which I'm excited about. Because I think since I started this for Mania this year, I want to have this done by Mania next year. I think I'm only going to start one piece, and I'm going to do it with the intention of finishing it by the next year. And I think this is going to be my piece for this year. I think I might even have next year's piece already picked out. Maybe. We'll see if I end up starting it for my birthday, because it's kind of a Halloween-themed piece. But yeah, that is my stitching on this piece. And I only worked on 2 pieces this week because I had a really bad slump, because it was finals. I only had to take 3 actual finals, and 2 of them were open book, so I wasn't that worried about it. And then I had a paper due on Friday, which was stressful because it was a group paper. Like I've said before, that was a bit of a mess. But what can you say? So then I actually picked up my Heroes and Heroines, and even though I had said that I'm not going to just stop in the middle of a page, I got a little frustrated with my my Once Upon a Fairy Tale, Heaven and Earth designed by Amy, charted by Heaven and Earth, designed by Amy Stewart. So I actually picked up Old Faithful, Heroes and Heroines, charted by Amy Stewart, and not charted by Heaven and Earth, designs, art by Amy Stewart. So this is the first 4 pages, 5th, 6th, 7th. I am now working on my 8th page, and I'm working in this diagonal because I realized that I was getting sick of just working in one color, I liked working with different colors right now. I mean, it's a lot of switching because, as you can see, I'm doing the 10 by 10 blocks, but I am still having fun. I'm gonna check my phone real quick. My sister texted me. Oh, she just sent me a TikTok. Make sure it wasn't anything too important. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read at all. But yes, actually, when I get done with that page, because I will be working, I worked on this page, and now I'm working here, and then I'm going to go down here, and then down there. Once I'm done with that page, I'm completely done with this first motif, which is super exciting. This was my new year, new start, so I have done 7 pages on it already this year. And I think I am just about to hit 15% on this piece, which is really, really exciting. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. He is playing with his mouse right now. Yeah, I really like doing this in this diagonal design because I was working over here, and I don't know if you can see, but that is only columns of 3. So my counting was just disastrous. I could not figure it out, and I messed up like 2 different colors, and I was like, okay, I just need to focus. But I'm having a lot of fun stitching that. I quite literally have like maybe 10 more stitches left in that one box, and I will be done with that box, and I will be able to move on. And I think I'm going to try to finish that tonight and maybe move on, because I am trying to reach a Magical Stitches event. I'm doing one of the Epcot. Yeah, I haven't looked at my homework yet for this week, but I will look at it and then update you. The way that Enchanted Stitching is doing it this month, they are doing like monthly challenges, so they're just letting out all the homework at once, which I totally a fan of. I like just working and working and working and not really having, you know, like not hitting all my goals and then being like, what do I stitch on now? You know, I don't have any more goals. I don't feel like stitching. But this, I'll constantly have goals because there are some chunky sized, like the stitching in one color for 1,000 stitches. That one's going to be hard for me. So I think I picked that border because I'll be able to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some border before I continue on so that I can have some more colorful stitching. Yeah. Let's talk about what I want to work on next week. So next week, like I said, I'm completely out of school and I am still out of work for a little while longer. Hopefully not too much longer, but again, we need to be safe. But yeah, so I am out of school, and I think I'm going to continue working on my heroes and heroines just because I'm feeling this is the piece that I'm feeling. I also have more work done on it. And it's also just pretty to look at. I really like looking at it. It looks very vibrant. And I also do really want to finish this first motif before this month is out is my goal. And if I can stitch 1,000 stitches a day, like I have been before, there's even a chance I can get it done, you know, before the end of next week, which is a huge goal. So I think I'm going to continue working on my Harry Potter style. I think I'm going to, like I said, put in probably 1.5 strands of the off-white color that is the inside of the border, and then go work on the train, because the train is a lot of color switches and it's not on this gridded fabric, which means that it's a lot of counting. And when the cubes are like, not the cubes, but the holes are that small, it's a little hard for me to count. Which is actually another question I have for you all. So I stitch, let me look at it. So if I were going to stitch, I would stitch bottom right to top left, and then bottom right to top, bottom left to top right. How do y'all, is that how you guys do it? I'm always confused because I think the reason that I've finally gotten kind of good at counting is I count from that right stitch over. I think before I had started you know, deciding that I was going to stitch in that bottom right corner, that's why I was counting wrong, is because I would count different ways, and if I didn't start in that, like, let's say I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I started on that right hand, you know, I'd mess up, because I'd be like, okay, well, this is 1, and then I'd stitch the wrong way. I'd stitch from that top and then go down, because I was going over too much. But I think I've actually finally figured out how to cross stitch after 3 years of trying. But yes, I just like showing this off because it's just beautiful. But I think that's all I have to show you. I think I rambled a lot because I sadly really didn't stitch all that much this week. And my plan is just kind of continue on. I'm thinking about getting my Reels kit out again. I think my hands have kind of finally healed up a little. I think that yarn was just a little too crass on it, and because I've been washing my hands so much, my hands are pretty much rubbed raw. So and I don't like putting a whole bunch of moisturizer on them before I go stitch, because then my needles get all gross and greasy, and it kind of rubs the silvery, sterling silver, I'm guessing, coating off of them, and it's just not fun to work with. But yes, I think, stop rambling, I'm going to work on my Heaven and Earth designs until probably around 11 tonight, go to sleep, because I've recently been sleeping until 11, which is fine for summer break, but eventually I have to go back to work, and even further on down the line, I have to go back to school, which is late August. But I'm excited to get back to stitching and try to find a good balance between Animal Crossing and stitching. And I think I finally kind of figured that out, is like I do my, 2 hours daily on Animal Crossing to keep my village up, and then the rest of the day kind of stitching and cooking and doing the things that I like. Yeah. Also, if I have any readers, I have been in a huge, huge reading slump lately. Like, terrible. I love to read. I absolutely adore reading. I've been reading voraciously since like the 3rd grade. So it's been, I've been reading like crazy for like 10 years now. Never stopped. Never stopped. Even when I hit reading slumps, I'd force myself to read a book and then I'd be fine. I can't. I haven't finished a book that I've started since March. Like, it's been 2 months. And that is crazy for me, because even like the audiobooks, the only book I finished that I started on an audiobook was Firestarter by Stephen King. And Stephen King books are cursed for me every time I listen to a Stephen King audiobook. The first time I was listening to Stephen King audiobooks, I got in a car crash. I was not listening to the book at that time, but I had listened to it and then got in the car and then got in an accident. Which is my first like on the road accident I'd ever had. And then the second time I was listening to Rita Hayworth's The Shawshank Redemption, and I dropped my phone and cracked it. I've had a phone for a decade now and never cracked one. I crack it listening to a Stephen King audiobook, so I'm done. Done. 2 broken things, 2 broken expensive things. Nope, I'll just read Stephen King. Never had a problem before. Did I say Firestarter? I meant earlier I had listened to Carrie for the first time, which is a great audiobook. I definitely suggest it. I had a lot of fun reading it. Okay, my sister sent me another talk. I was just making sure nothing's happening. But yes, if anyone has any recommendations of books, I'm a huge fantasy reader. I'm a huge literary fiction reader. I read everything. Yeah, no, it's just been kind of sad, because I also started at the same time a booktube channel, like a channel about books, and I haven't read one. So I've been like, I'm not going to upload on that channel because I literally haven't read anything. And I just can't. And it makes me sad because there's all these people who are like, I'm reading again, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, I can't read. I've just been stitching, which I'm totally fine with because I've gotten a lot of stitching done. But also I want to read. But yes, I'm just going to show this off again before I go to thank all of you stitchers who listened to me talk about books for a little while. I'm sorry. I hope you all have a fine week. I hope you have an amazing stitching week. I hope everyone said I love you to your mothers, and those of you who don't have mothers or didn't have a great mom, I hope you gave whoever is the best woman figure in your life a big old hug, virtually, if you don't live with them, or if you're safe to go visit them for a little while. I hope you went and did that. But yeah, just keep the women in your thoughts, and I'm sure this community is good about that. I mean, we're mostly women who love and cherish all the other women in our group. And I would just like to thank everyone who's uploading videos on YouTube, because you are keeping me sane in this time. And I'm gonna go and upload this video and hope that it uploads this time. I had a problem last week and I didn't get it uploaded right until like Wednesday. It was privated, and then it went like you unlisted, and then it went private again, and then I had to like re-upload it. It was weird. I hope that doesn't happen this week. I'm gonna get off here because I stopped actually talking about cross stitch 10 minutes ago. Have a great week. Love you all. Thank you so much for watching.